Tank destroyers are by far the most diverse class of vehicles in World of Tanks Blitz. If you were to compare a vehicle like the Turtle Mark 1, a slow, heavily armored assault tank, to a vehicle like the SU-130 or even the RHM, which are both glass cannons, they have just completely different playstyles. And then compare that to a T-28 prototype, and then a Jagdpanther 2. I mean, you really can't play any of these tanks very similarly. But then we get to a vehicle like the AMX AC-48, which is by far one of my favorite Tier 8 tank destroyers in the game, and what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, frontally, this tank doesn't look very strong. If you look at the base armor, it's 150 millimeters, and you might think, well, 150 millimeters of armor, and the gun's not even that great on this tank. Why would you ever want to drive this thing? Well, it all has to do with angles. This tank is a wedge, and wedge tanks are known for being wedges. Sure, that 150 millimeters on paper may not seem very strong, and as you can see here, on flat ground, aiming down on it, it is 150. But then you angle it, and you keep going down and down and down to where you would actually be aiming at this tank from. Yeah, that is now 240 millimeters thick, and if you're using your 6 degrees of gun depression, that is 280 millimeters thick. This is a T26E5. It has 265 millimeters of heat pen, and I'm running Cali on this with here, so yeah, that's more about 300 millimeters of pen, and it still has no chance of cutting through the AMX AC-48. This tank is incredibly hard to cut through. Now, don't get me wrong, there are weaknesses. The roof, it's got massive cupolas that, unlike the Foch 155s, are very easy to penetrate. But I really like this tank. It has two great things going for it. It has the wedge, and it has the mobility. This tank goes at 50 kilometers per hour. And sure, the gun is terrible on DPM. It's one of the worst DPM Tier 8 tank destroyers in the game. But that's because it's not about the DPM when you play this tank. I mean, I've played a couple games in it today, and I'm averaging like 2,800. It's more down to the fact that it's supposed to be a pseudo frontline tank destroyer. You've got 340 millimeters of APCR pen on this tank. That's enough to turn any armor into dust. Even T-34s hull down, you just penetrate right through the turret. And when you think of it like that, armor's not a problem with this tank. So what is a problem? Well, really not much. If you play this vehicle up against frontline heavy tanks, you have very similar DPM. A vehicle like the Action 10, sure, that thing's got massive heaps of DPM. But if you compare that to a vehicle like a T-2020, the T-2020 is going to have an incredibly hard time of penetrating this vehicle with any standard ammo. And judging that this tank cuts right through a T-2020 with no problem whatsoever, plus it's got that great mobility to get into position, you're going to see just what the tank can do in this first battle here. Well, I guess we're all going to find out if it's going to go well or not. So there you go. Already spotted some tanks. We got the T-2020 here, and boom, nice shot straight into his vehicle for 429. And look at that, a Jagdtiger bouncing right off of my upper plate. That is a Tier 9 tank destroyer. An incredibly strong Tier 9 TD at that, and again, just bouncing right off of my vehicle. Now sure, I did not hit him back either, because, yeah, bit of a miss there. But for the most part, yeah, that's pretty impressive. The fact that we just bounced a Jagdtiger twice on the frontal armor of this tank. Now we got some tanks off to the side here. We got the Progetto, and I'm going to push over here, actually. I'm thinking that we can do some decent work if we get some shells into the side of the T-2020, so let's try that now. There we go, nice roll for 403. And as I said, the great news is that I out-reload a tank like this. Look at that thing's upper plate. It's literally butter for this vehicle. So here we go, aiming in again, and boom, easy shot into that T-2020 for 380. And now I'm going to back up. I'm going to wiggle this tank back and forth. Here we go. Let's push him. Speed is key. Let's get another nice shell into this vehicle. There you go. And just look at it. Every shell bounces this thing. It's actually amazing. So now the T-2020 is basically just dead. I mean, I'm not going to struggle to pen him, obviously. So here we go. And dead. Now, I will say that Jagdpanther did get a very nice shell into my tank, which does make sense. The Jagdpanther hit me right in the cupola, which is a massive weak spot for this vehicle. We're going to aim it on this E50, though. Let's get a nice tap into his tank. There you go. 402 roll. We do got the Progetto off to my side, though. And, yeah, I'll be honest. My team, they're not doing great this game. I tried my best, and that's all that really matters. But team-wise, I don't even know how they did this bad. I mean, we had a lot of mediums. We had 3 mediums. I don't even know how they let the Progetto and the E50 get away. That's pretty impressive. But for the first game here, you still got to see where that wedge worked. I mean, if we go back to Armor Inspector really quick, and we go get out what was the enemy T-2020, this is what the guy saw with standard ammo. I mean, he literally could not pen me. And even with premium, again, hull down, this tank is very, very hard to cut through. So, yeah, it is a super strong tank. But you did notice that the E50 and as well the, what was it? I think it was just the E50. Oh, yeah, the Jagdpanther too. They shot me in the roof. And that Jagdpanther actually got a super high roll of 550, so there wasn't really much I was going to do about that. And that Jagdtiger just loaded premium. It looks like it went right through my upper plate. But for the most part, we still did a pretty solid job this game, and I can't really blame the tank on this loss now, can I? Even if I was probably running a frontline heavy, it probably would not have changed this result all too much. So this battle, we were able to rack out 2,152 damage. Not only that, but finished second on our team, and the only player that did more was a Type 61 that was able to farm our failing team. Yeah, wow, our team was yeah, no, not very good. So let's load in the one more battle here. Let's see if this time it'll do a bit better. I mean, the tank did fine, so we'll just see if we can get a better team, should I per se. But, yeah, the first game really showcased all the strengths you need to know about this tank. It can very quickly get in the position, which is great, because when you're able to get in the position first, you get the jump on the enemy. Not to mention, you get to use that great mobility, plus that armor, and get bounces. I mean, you can't say that any other Tier 8 tank destroyer would have gotten nearly that amount of bounces there. So, this game, I have two choices. I can either camp up on that hill, or I can push in. But I'm going to push in because they got a Defender Mark 1, an RE-251, and a T-43. And judging that we've got 3 mobile tanks as well, I should be able to help them out quite a bit. And, oh, by the way, did I forget to mention that this tank weighs 50 tons, which means that you can actually get some really nice ramming out there. I think it's called the AMX AC-48 because it weighs 48 normally, and that's about my best guess. But either way, here we are, going up to 50 kilometers per hour. You can see, even when compared to medium tanks, this thing is super fast, which I love. I mean, mobility is such a fun aspect about vehicles. If you're mobile, it just feels a lot more fun, as you know. So here we go. I'm going to try and speed along and get over to this RU-251 as quickly as I can. So here we go. Speed, speed, speed. Did not get shot, which is fantastic for me. Keep going, keep going. We got that Defender Mark 1. We got the RU-251 over here. But as long as I can get in this position, now we are a very, very deadly tank. We also got this Defender. There you go. Nice shot into his vehicle. We even got a 460 damage bounce from that enemy Scorpion G. Again, I'm going to try and angle out this hull here. There you go. Nice bounce from that Defender. Let's get another shell. There you go. I mean, look at these bounces we're getting. When you actually don't know where the weak spot is on this tank, the armor is just amazing. Here we go. Let's aim in on this Defender again. There you go. Another tap. And sure, the DPM might not be amazing on the vehicle, but do you really need DPM when we just bounced that many shells on the upper plate? I really don't think so. We got that Scorpion G, and we got the T-26E4, who, again, bounced me, and we're just going to aim in right on his lower plate. I don't even think that went into his lower plate, I'm going to be honest, but still penned him quite easily, and we're now sitting at 1,500 damage. So, what are we going to do here? Look at that, just plethora of bounces. That's actually pretty funny. But, well, I'm going to push over here. If that Scorpion G is sitting up on the ridge, we should be quite comfortable because, well, yeah, he was going to be out-detected by me. This tank also has very good camouflage going for it, but I'm going to push up. We're going to see if we can get some shells out onto the enemy. That Scorpion G, he is already quite far back. The T-43, I mean, this guy, he doesn't stand much of a chance. Let's just tap him with a shell, and now I'm going to continue on pushing forwards. The T-26E4, he's behind us, and I really want to get some shells into the Scorpion. This guy, he's in a really deadly tank, as we know, and the Scorpion, I'm just hoping this guy doesn't shoot me in the rear. That's, oh no, I'm dead. I'm dead. That is just the end of me. Yep. Well, actually, the Scorpion high-rolled me. He just went through my upper plate, but yeah, that E-25, I was hoping that the Scorpion would not high-roll me, and I was going to have the ability to ram him, because, as I went over, this tank is fantastic at ramming. But, yeah, I guess I was not able to do that in this battle. So there you go, we came out with a victory, and we dealt 2,277 damage, which is pretty good. I mean, we were able to finish second on the team, once again, and how many shells did we bounce? We bounced 7 shells. I mean, that's a lot of damage. In fact, we can take a look really quickly at how much damage we were actually able to block this game if we scroll to the end here, and yeah, 1,480 for a Tier 8 tank destroyer. I blocked more damage than I actually have in hit points. Unfortunately, I made a bit of a mistake there. I wanted to rush that Scorpion, try and get a ramming on him, but yeah, I probably should have expected that the Scorpion G would cut through my armor, as yeah, this is a Scorpion with AP with Callion, so yeah, looks like that was just a bit of a misplay on my parts. But hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. The tank's super fun to play, and let me know if you guys like these wedge style play style tanks in Blitz. But other than that, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.